they go out into the desert, and they have some sort of a secret frequency. He didn't want to discuss it, that they can push out. They can send out the secret frequency, and it'll call them in, and that other people have done it simply by willing them in.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So sitting there and putting out this message that you're trying to communicate with them, and then eventually they show up.
Yeah, I can't speak to technologically assisted psionics and all that kind of stuff, but do you want to hear my UFO story? Okay.
So, first of all, where did you come up with this idea on your own, or did you hear about people doing this?
No, I heard of it from someone who's a quite polarizing figure in the UFO community. I know you've spoken to him, Dr. Stephen Greer. But
polarizing people are right sometimes.
He's right on this.
Yeah, they could be right on a lot of
things. He's right on this, and I know that a lot of people have issues with Greer, but he was actually my intro into the UFO subject. So I'll tell you the story. Sorry about my throat. Let me just take a sip of water, actually.
No worries.
So this was...
How did he find out about it?
It's a good question. He had a near-death experience, I believe, and from that was actually apparently communicated to and shown things that when he came out of that experience, he became a samadhi type, teacher. And,
of course.
Got profoundly interested in
That's a great origin story.
Brilliant origin story. My origin story was that I was really bored during COVID. No, so honestly though, it was actually in 2019 that I had these experiences. And I do think that it's very important to lay a bit of foundational groundwork, because I think a lot of people will recognize this as well. And it's something that you mentioned with Bigfoot being in a high-stress environment in the forest. Maybe that changes your perception. And I think that there's a degree of trauma and a degree of intense emotional moments that can bring about paranormal experiences. I don't know why, but it does seem to be something that a lot of people relate to. Yes, I was in a very dark time. Yes, I was having a very traumatic time. Or yes, I was going through something. And then this happened. And so for me, I was in my third year of university and struggling. Just had a whole mix of personal issues going on. So I ended up kind of dropping out before I finished, and was just in a really bad rut. And my dad was worried about me. And he said, look, I'm out in... this is a bit of a long story, but it's important to lay this foundation, I think, before I talk about what I actually experienced, because it plays in. My dad was worried. He was out in France at the time, and he said, look, do you want to come out and stay at this place with me and just, kind of relax and bring yourself back to normal? I was like, yeah, okay. So I came out, and he was like, I've got these books that I've been reading. I think they'd be really beneficial for you. You should read them. And I was like, okay, I don't see how a book's going to change
Does he
anything.
often recommend books?
Not massively, no. In fact, no. No, this was the only time he recommended books, which is interesting. And they were a series of books called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. Have you ever heard of them?
No.
Okay, so it's interesting. It kind of ties into, I suppose, the channeled works, things that people believe they received.
Oh, wait a minute. I have heard of this.
He's quite well known. He's quite well known. He, was a radio DJ, broke his neck in a car accident, became homeless, finally managed to get back on his feet, but was still struggling, wrote an angry letter to God, and then apparently woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and was having voices literally telling him to write things down. And so he wrote all of this down, and this became Conversations with God. It's literally a dialogue of him asking questions and him receiving answers, which he interpreted as from God. Now, that is intense, and I'm definitely not here to say this is a Bible and everyone should read it. However, it was incredibly impactful for me at that time. The things that I was reading about, it was a very different idea of God, universal consciousness leaning towards more than some weird patriarchal cloud living figure that just never made sense to me. So it got me in, and I was reading it, and it helped tremendously, weirdly enough, which I didn't expect. And that put me on a path towards researching metaphysics and philosophy and science and consciousness, and that's where it really started for me. But then a couple years down the line, I found myself in another depression, in a sense, because I felt like I'd accumulated a lot of information about various different topics that I thought were these big questions and big answers and big esoteric things. And I just got to a point where I was like, none of this is actually helping me in my life. In fact, I'm actually feeling fucking worse for looking into all of this thing. I don't know how this is going to benefit me. So I was sitting on my bed one night, and I guess you could call it a prayer. I just sat on my bed and said out loud to the universe, I need something that validates all of this. If I'm meant to be looking into these big picture questions about the universe and consciousness, if there's something tangible here, I need to know, and I want evidence, and I'm ready for it. So give me it. I want that. And then a week later, my best friend at the time, he was like, hey, I was watching this documentary. You've got to check it out. It's called Unacknowledged by this guy called Dr. Stephen Greer. And this is my first introduction to the UFO subject. So I was like, okay, cool. Sit down and watch that. Very good documentary. All of these different, high-level officers and missile launch guys talking about UFOs. It got me in. And then near the end of that is when he brings up this concept of CE5, initiating contact with these. You can actually have your own experiences by getting into a particular meditative state. If I hadn't been making that request on my bed the week prior, I probably just would have watched that documentary and gone about my life. But it felt like a very strong message to me personally, because I've been asking for something to validate these ideas around consciousness. Now there's a guy saying, yeah, you can actually have an experience by going out and attempting to, ask for one.
So talk me through the process of actually doing that.
So he has...
Did you get it on the first try?
No.
How many times did you try?
It was a weird gradual thing where things were happening in the sky that were enough to keep me going out, but not enough for me to be like, okay, this is legit.
So how many times did you go out before it worked?
Before I saw what I really, really saw, probably about a month of going out.
Damn, that's commitment.
But I was seeing things, but they
okay.
weren't. It was kind of just enough to make me like, okay.
What were you seeing?
Lots of what the contact community call flash bulbs, flashes of light in the night sky in a void of space repeatedly without any discernible object attached to it. Just one flash, and then send a thought, another flash, send a thought, another flash. And this happened multiple times. I've been someone who watches the night sky all my life. I'm used to seeing satellites. I know what iridium flares are.
For?
Maybe an hour, 2 hours,
And so you sit down. Are you seated?
No, I'd usually be standing with my neck craned to the sky, but I would be...
Why don't you get a lounge chair?
I know.
More meditative.
I know. I don't know. I don't think about things properly sometimes when I do
How about
them.
just lay down on the ground?
Just lay on the grass,
Don't
right?
you get a better view of the sky?
Yeah, but it's cold in England, and it was wet, mildewy on the floor. It was not.
Get a tarp.
Yeah. But I was essentially, because of, again, asking the universe for something. The universe seemed to be giving me some sort of response. It kind of lit a fire up under me, and I started going outside. And honestly, a lot of people, like even Greer, has this incredibly, complicated method using samadhi and doing various things. I didn't do any of that. I just breathed in through the nose and out through the mouth until I felt very calm, and then began to very clearly model my thoughts around the concept of I want something to respond to me, and then I would essentially visualize that was emanating from me, that these thoughts were emanating from me. And it didn't take very long before I'd have flashes of light in the sky that just seemed weird because I've never seen anything like that, or an incredible influx of what look and behave like satellites, but just at an incredibly high level, where it's just like, what's going on here? And it just felt like a kind of step-by-step progression until in August of 2019, I had 4 incredibly vivid and real experiences with orange orbs of light. Really profound.
What was that? What happened?
So I was outside. At this point, it become my routine. It was in the summer of August, and it was relatively warm, so I was out doing this quite a lot, seeing little flashes, seeing things in the sky, trying to figure out what exactly it was that I was seeing. And I was standing at the back of my garden looking towards my house, night sky, crystal clear. And I saw at the beginning a flash of light in the corner of the sky. So I looked over and I saw this flash, another flash, another flash, and it was just blinking, but it was static in space. And then it started moving down. Every time it blinked, it would move further down. And I was observing this. And then it settled above 2 stars and kind of created the apex of a triangle. And it was just flashing above these 2 stars. And I was watching this for a while. And it happened for long enough where I just decided, all right, thank you, whatever you are. I'm just going to keep panning around the sky here and looking around. And as I panned my head, I saw that there was a cloud, but I didn't really look at it. And I turn around here, come back, and I see this cloud again. And this time I really look at it. And this cloud, Joe, had, so strange, it's like a dark cloud, but when you stared at it, it had a staticky appearance. It's very hard to describe other than imagine a light overlay of TV static. There was particles, it was agitated, it was shimmering, it was something, not a cloud, like certainly not anything I've ever seen in my life. And if we pretend this microphone is my house and this cloud is here, it's drifting this way. So eventually it's going to drift past my house and go this way, at least according to its natural trajectory. It gets to my house and it does a right angle turn and it starts coming towards me. So eventually it's going to be above my head, this cloud-like formation.
A cloud does a right angle turn in the sky.
Abrupt, as in 90 degrees. It's going like this, and now it's going like this towards you. High up in the sky, but it's now in my path. Complete 90-degree shift from its trajectory. And I saw it, like a jarring, bloop, now it's going this way. Okay, so at this point, I'm rooted in place. I'm not really scared, but I'm shocked at the fact that this thing did what it just did. And I'm watching as it's coming closer and closer, towards where I'm going to be. Eventually, it's directly above my head. It sounds so crazy. And, Terence McKenna said something like this. He was like, if you tell the unvarnished truth about a UFO experience, you'll be taken for a fool. It's like, it's true. If you just tell people what really happened. But this is what really happened. So this cloud comes above my head. As it's directly above my head, this cloud like sucked into itself as if there was a central vacuum, a central point where it just got sucked into itself. And it revealed a triangle formation of about 25, maybe 30 orange orbs of light in a triangle. And this triangle, basically the cloud went, triangle was revealed, it kept moving. I had to turn around and watch as it went off in this direction. And as I was watching it, I could see that some of these orbs were actually swapping position in this formation. And that was the first time I saw them. I saw them 3 other occasions, all within the space of a month after this. Weirdly enough, I woke up the next day, and this is the only element of the story, as crazy as the whole thing sounds, is the only element that makes me personally uncomfortable. I was getting out of the shower, and as I was drying myself off, immediately noticed where this tattoo is now. There was a triangle mark of three red marks, one here, one here, one here. Very vivid, like the.
And you covered it up with a tattoo?
Well, it faded. It
Did
faded
you take any
over
pictures
time.
Of it?
I have taken pictures of it. Yeah.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Can I see it?
I can try and find them. Yeah, I haven't got my internet on right now. Jamie, if you go onto my X account and just type in J. Anderson marks on arm, maybe that will come up. I'm sorry, I should have really sent that ahead of time, but I do have images online. People have seen them, and I've discussed it many times.
Did it look like a wound? Did
this
it
is
look
the thing.
Like a tattoo?
So 3 red marks, no bump, no scab, no itching, no feeling of discomfort. There was a slight shine to them, as if it was almost like a healed over burn, and this was very vivid. It didn't dissipate for over a year. It was on my arm for about a year before it eventually faded away, and then I got Hermes Trismegistus tattooed on my arm. But weirdly enough, I got this tattoo and then got invited to Egypt. But yeah, I had these experiences. I had another experience where they came down and hovered above my house.
Can I ask you this? So these orbs,
yeah. There you go.
Wow.
Thanks, Jamie. Thanks for that.
That is
weird.
It looks like you burned 3 cigarettes on your arm.
That's what some arsehole online definitely claimed, but I didn't.
Well, that's what I would say too if I was an asshole online.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, this I noticed it immediately. I'm not particularly comfortable with it. I don't know what it really means. I'm a bit of an idiot, Joe, because I should have gone to a dermatologist. I should have actually had someone look at it.
Branded, but like cattle, son.
Well, that's kind of what I think. And at the same time,
let's keep an eye on this one.
Can I even be mad at them? I was like, show me, give me evidence. I want to sign. Well, fuck it, fine then.
Right.
There you go, dude.
I would say whatever that is on your arm, who knows? Maybe a dermatologist could explain it. It's just a coincidence. But the actual thing itself is far more interesting to me. And because one of the things that people always say is, if they were out there, what wouldn't we see them? Like, God, if they could come here from another dimension, or if they can come here from another planet or another solar system, don't you think they could probably hide? Like, we're pretty good at hiding. Like, don't you think we have technology right now, like the stealth bomber stuff, that diminishes the radar signal.
Exactly.
Like you can't pick them up on radar. So why would it be impossible to somehow or another manipulate your visual field, project what looks like clouds on the outside? We know that we can do stuff like that with plasma. Like they have these plasma things that can spin in the sky.
Absolutely.
And it's weird. They can make objects out of them.
I wonder if that was plasma. I actually do wonder if this was a form of self-organizing plasma, because that's definitely something that people have looked into quite extensively.
Maybe plasma has intelligence.
Yes.
There's some, yeah.
Yes, and perhaps these are a form of individuated plasmic intelligences that can interact.
When I saw Gleason, Gleason was what I wanted to be. I just thought Jackie Gleason was just amazing, and I said, I want to be like that guy, because he was incredible. And it was, people didn't realize he was a stand-up,
I didn't know Gleason did stand-up.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
One night, 2-ton Tony Galenta was giving him shit. And
the boxer.
And Gleason heckled him, and Tony knocked him out.
Jesus.
Oh, yeah. He was incredible, because I met Art Connie.
Jackie Gleason was obsessed with UFOs. Did you know that?
Nah, but I kind of dig it too, man.
There's a story. This guy told it to me. Some guy was a rock band dude. He told me the story, and I don't know if it's true. But the story was that Gleason was friends with Nixon, and Nixon said, "You want to see some shit?" And Nixon took him to
Area 51.
I don't think it was Area 51. I think it was Hangar 18, which is a Wright-Patterson Air Force base, and I think it was outside of Columbus, Ohio, and they supposedly had some fucking crashed UFO there. And Gleason built a replica of it, or had a replica of it built in his fucking backyard in New York.
Wow.
They went to the Homestead Air Force Base outside of Miami, it says.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I got a bullshit version of it. Pull up the actual version. Where are you getting this from?
I just Googled it. I mean, it's a rumored story, so I don't know if it's...
Yeah, that's how I got it. I got it from a guy in a band. It might be bullshit, but he gave me some book on UFOs. And he was telling me about this, but that Jackie Gleason apparently was obsessed with UFOs.
Well, I believe there's got to be something out there.
Yeah.
We're it. I mean, that's it.
No,
right?
I don't believe we're it.
I did a lot of USO shows, and I've been around the world, and I was, every time I've done, I was off the coast of Turkey someplace, and the commander of the base took me out for dinner afterwards, and I got him drunk. I got him pretty drunk. I was sober at the time. I got him pretty drunk, and I said, "Hey, man," he goes, "let me ask you about Area 51." He goes, he got stone sober. He goes, "This conversation never happened," and he left, and I had to take a cab to find my way back to a nuke base that no one knows about.
Jesus.
Right. So then I'm at the dunes. This is how long ago that was, and I'm with these guys who are in the Air Force, and they said, "Man, we really like your show. We're fans of yours." I got them drunk, and I said, "Hey, man, what about Area 51?" And they said, "Mr. Clark, good night," and they walked away. So now, me and Mike are golfing with these Blue Angels, and he goes, "You're going to ask him?" I go, "No." The second year, we golf with them again. I go, "All right, fellas, tell me about Area 51. They go, "Well," he goes, "I was flying a plane, and I had malfunction, and I had to land there. And they came out, and they pretty much blindfolded me, took me into a building, and they fixed my jet within 35 minutes, and then put me back in the place. You were never here." And I went, "Oh, my God." So I don't know what's out there.
Yeah, but here's the thing. That was an area where they were testing all sorts of military equipment. They were testing different new, like, that's where the B-2 or the stealth bomber,
Right.
they were testing that there.
And the spy plane.
Yeah, they were testing a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of top secret stuff there.
Right.
Didn't necessarily have to be aliens.
I understand that, and I'm hoping that there is.
But he's still trying to find out.
But I'd love to go there, man. Oh man! But you can't even drive. If you drive up there, Joe, by the time you get your camera out, they're on you and tell you, well, "Get out of here. We'll lock you up." It's not good. So
they don't even go there anymore. They've moved to a new area. They've actually, because it's so heavily scrutinized, and because of Google Earth and all sorts of different ways you can see things, they've actually moved to another area.
Well, I read everything I can find about that too, and I think I read the book Area 51. It was 2 years ago, and basically at the end of the book, it was like Hitler had these, his guys experimenting with the Jews and put their arms on different ways, and had an aircraft that looked like a spaceship, and it crashed And these people came out with crazy arms. And, well, they're aliens. And that was in the book, you know, so that kind of shut the shit out of that.
I know Hitler did experiment with some sort of disc-type air vehicle. Yeah, they did, but I don't know if they ever got it off the ground or what the deal was. But the most interesting story is the story of Robert Lazar, Bob Lazar, who was a guy who worked at Area 51, and he got fired because his wife was cheating on him. And they were recording all of his phone calls and taping all of his conversations, and they found out that his wife was cheating on him. They thought that he was going to be emotionally unstable. And so they didn't tell him why. They just released him. And so then he brings friends to watch these, what he said were alien crafts that they were experimenting with, and they were flying these things around that had some super advanced propulsion system that they were asking him to help back engineer, and he brought friends to do that, and then they got arrested for doing that. And when he did that, then he started talking about it. So he's been discredited by a bunch of people, but I don't know who's telling the truth. He says that they wiped his college record so that no one, but people said they went to school with him, and he definitely did work for the government, but under what capacity, who knows. But his story is fascinating, and you know, I want it to be true. You hear it, you want it to be true.
Joe, they used to fly the team of people that worked at Area 51 from Burbank.
Yeah.
Every day, fly them in, they'd work, and then fly them back. It's like they didn't stay over.
Well, there was that one airport outside of Vegas. It was right outside like where the Riviera was.
Yeah.
You could actually look out and see the airport. And they would fly the people from there in these unmarked jets.
Yeah, I want it to be true.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you want it to be true.